welcome back. Today we're gonna do something that I think a lot of people will really enjoy. It's not the best for you, so I know a lot of people don't eat it very often, and a lot of people, I'd say there's not a lot of locations left of Long John Silver's, but that's what we're gonna do today. I'm going to show you a copycat recipe for Long John Silver's chicken planks and the fish. It's basically the same batter for both. So we're gonna try both, and it's actually easier than you think. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you some of the ingredients that we've used. So this is a lot of what we're gonna use for this. Some peanut oil, cornstarch, flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and some seasonings, which we'll go over those here as I show you what I've put into the batter. But that's basically it. As far as the peanut oil, I think it tastes more like Long John Silver's using the peanut oil. If you want to use vegetable shortening, that's fine too. Just whatever you have. I recommend the peanut oil, but it's not necessary. And of course, I do have a little bit of cod here that I've cut into smaller strips. And then I do have boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I've cut into some smaller strips. I do have my peanut oil on the stove, and we want to heat that up to about 375 degrees. Basically, once you've gotten your ingredients together, it's a pretty quick recipe. So once you've assembled your flour mixture, I would go ahead and heat that oil up to 375 degrees, and you'll be good to go. You don't want to put this in the fryer unless it is at that temperature, or it's just going to get soggy and not crisp up. So, well, let's go over the ingredients to bread this. So first off, I do have a bowl with just cornstarch, just plain cornstarch. Definitely recommend dipping your chicken and your fish into the cornstarch before the batter mix. Just makes the batter stick to it a little bit better. And then this bowl, it is my flour mixture with the seasonings. So what I have in here is 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, a 1/4 teaspoon of the baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of the baking powder. I do have a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar. And on the spices, I did a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. And I just kind of mixed it all in with the fork to incorporate everything. So that's ready to go. Now, the dry mixture to that, before we dip the chicken in, we are going to add the moisture to it. So here, I do have 3/4 of a cup of water with a 1/2 tablespoon of white vinegar. Now, if you don't want to use that, you can use a beer batter if you prefer. I prefer this one, totally up to you. So let's go ahead and we'll get the wet mixed into our dry mixture. We'll make sure our oil is heating up. And if by chance you do add a little bit too much liquid into here, you can always add a little bit more flour. But I find it usually measures out correctly if you follow the measurements that I gave you. And obviously, since we are making chicken and fish, fry your chicken first, batter it first, and fry it first, so that your chicken doesn't end up tasting like the fish. So nobody wants that. Just when you're mixing the water vinegar mix into your dry mix, just try to get the lumps out. Doesn't have to be perfect. But that cornstarch in there does make it bubble up quite a bit. The paprika gives it a touch of that golden color as well. I'd say those measurements were perfect. Perfect consistency. So if you haven't already, go ahead and heat that oil to 375. And I recommend a thermometer to check your oil temperature. If you don't have it, just flick a little bit of cold water carefully into the pan, just a little flick with your finger. If it sizzles, you're probably good. We can go ahead and we'll get our chicken breaded. Also, I do recommend salting the chicken and the fish before you put them in the cornstarch. Nothing crazy because there is some salt in the batter already. Just lightly salting your protein. All right, and then once you do that, just go ahead and dip it in the cornstarch. Just a light coating, nothing major there. Shake off the excess and then put it into your batter. And of course you can use tongs if you don't want to get your fingers all dirty, but you know, I like to go in with the hands. And just let the excess drip off. And we'll just do this with all of the chicken first, and then we'll do the same exact thing with the fish. And we're just gonna sit it back on our mat until our oil is heated and we are ready to fry. I've always loved Long John Silver's. The locations are, it seems like they're getting harder to find, which is kind of sad. I know it's not the healthiest thing, but it is a nice treat every now and then. And when you do find one, like anything else, you'll find that the pricing has gone up. So this is definitely a more economical way to get your Long John Silver's fixed. You know, one day I'm gonna have to figure out those Long John Silver's hush puppies, because those are my favorite hush puppies. You'll see when you're dipping it in, the batter is a little bit on the thicker side, but that's what we want, so. I used about a little over a pound of the chicken, and it's just a pound of the fish. So we should have enough batter to cover a couple of pounds of the proteins. Definitely gets a little bit messy on the fingers if you choose to go the finger method. Of course, fresh is always better on the chicken and fish. Frozen will work as well. Just make sure that you get it thawed out first. Because when we drop it in the oil, it's actually only gonna cook for about 3 minutes on each side, and you should be good to go. And just make sure you keep an eye on that oil. Don't want it to get too hot on you. All right, everything has been battered. Go ahead and clean my hands and we'll check that oil temperature. Yeah, all battered up, just waiting for the oil to heat. And I did go ahead, as my oil's heating here, I did go ahead and set up a rack to transfer it over after it comes out of the oil, for it to drip some of that excess off and to cool a little bit. Let's check that oil temperature again. We're at about 300. Well, we're getting a little bit closer on that temperature. Just a little bit more to go. And as always, when deep frying anything, just be very careful not to burn yourself. I didn't use a really wide pan. I just fry a few pieces at a time. If you want to cook more than that, then you could use a rounder size pan, but it will take a little bit more oil. And that actually was the most expensive thing for this recipe, is the peanut oil. Again, not necessary, but I definitely think it turns out better in the peanut oil. So we'll give this another check. Oh, I think we're good. Try to move it around a little bit. Don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. Yeah, those are looking pretty good after 6 minutes. I did check the internal temperature and they are good to go. So we'll go ahead and continue this with our chicken and our fish. All right, this is how it turned out. There's my chicken on this side, the fish on that side. So pretty easy, huh? Just to make Long John Silver's at home. I've got a piece of the chicken, I've got a piece of the fish. I'm gonna give it a little taste. Really good. Nice and crunchy. Yeah, very good. Try the fish. It's really good. Inexpensive way to eat Long John Silver's, enough to feed your whole family. So hopefully you'll give it a try and you'll like it. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.